Namaste, everybody. It's the Queen Incarnate, the Savage Beauty, the international face kicker, Sahara Se7en, and you're watching O Face Wrestling Podcast.
That's right. Oh, Face Wrestling. Listen to the podcast. Listen. They are Dark Side approved. Howden approves it. Oh, Face Wrestling. I'll be listening. Will you?
Hi, I'm MCW Women's Champion Gia Scott, and you're watching O Face Wrestling.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to O Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today I am joined by Sahara Se7en. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. I am really excited for the Sahara. So I will have to personally say I didn't want to say this in the beginning because I wanted to say this, before we were recording because I wanted to say this for the episode. So I started recording with wrestlers back in October, and to be honest with you, because I know that you wrestled in my area before, you've actually been one of the top wrestlers on my list that I've been wanting to feature on the show. So I am extremely excited for this opportunity.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry now. I gotta make up one of my ugly crier.
Yeah, I've been trying to get you for months, so I'm just stoked right now.
Yay! That means a lot, though.
Yeah, no problem at all. I mean, like I said, I knew about you because you wrestled in my area. You wrestled for MCW, and I'll be asking you questions about that. I've known about you for about like 2 or 3 years now. And then when I actually started the podcast and started interviewing wrestlers, I was like, I got to get her on the show one day. So now I finally got you about a year into the show. So hell yeah, let's do this.
I'm with it.
So, the first question I got for you, and this is one question that I asked every wrestler, but you all give a different answer, so it's something I have to ask. So just in general, like, what inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
Well, I used to get bullied a lot in school, and it stemmed from the way I talked to the way I acted to what sport I played to just random things. Like I moved from one place to another, and it was like a different like culture shock or whatever. And I used to get bullied a lot and like picked on. And I was I can't believe it now, but I was a really skinny girl. Like I was like a stick figure. I played soccer, and not trying to make this a race thing, but where I was at, a lot of African American or people of color didn't play soccer at that time. And I got picked on a lot about that, and it just got to the point where I started feeling like I was alone, like I was weird, something was wrong with me. And like I started watching wrestling just by chance because my uncle was into wrestling. And he was like, my dad's from Cleveland. But he's from Cleveland, and they used to watch wrestling back in the day. But my uncle was the only one that really like stuck with it. And my uncle, he's a preacher, believe it or not, watching wrestling. And he introduced me to it, and he showed me all these characters, and like he could tell like my dad was telling him that I was having a hard time with schools and stuff since like moving schools and things like that. And he showed me these people who were like underdogs and who were like, not the greatest or the fastest or the strongest, but they were still coming out on top because they had the faith and the courage and the drive and the determination. And to me, that just spoke to me like, before the women, and before I got really heavy into women's wrestling, that spoke to me was the underdog, the person that they counted out, person that they week after week they beat up on, and they would still somehow be triumphant, still pick their head up high, and carry on. So that spoke to me. And then like it got really heavy for me once I started getting into women's wrestling. And I'll say this 1,000 times. I've said it like before. Victoria was the ultimate like female like idol that I had in wrestling because she got labeled as crazy. She got labeled, all these things, a bad guy, this, that, and the third. But she still came out triumphant. She was still confident. She still had that drive, that determination to achieve her goals. So for me, that was like a thing, like a big eye opener when I was becoming a kid and maturing, like, becoming a young adult and things like that. And it just stuck with me. I used to get bullied and picked on because I watched wrestling. Like, it was bad. Like, it got from the point where it was like, you get picked on because you're soccer, you talk weird, da, 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 da. And you can't really tell now because I speak so fast. But if I kind of slow down, you can see I do have an accent, but we'll go there about that. But it went from soccer, the way you talk, to, oh, God, you watch wrestling? Like, that it's fake, la, 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 da, 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 da. but to me, wrestling presented a safe haven for like me. Like I understood, I felt the characters, I felt the storyline, I felt, you know what I'm saying? It made it that much of a difference to me as a kid. So that's how I got, like, basically what got me into wrestling and what got me started. But as far as my actual career in wrestling, that started later on. Like, I'm gonna let y'all in on a tidbit. I got kicked out of my first Virginia high school because I stopped getting bullied for, watching wrestling and stuff like that. I got bigger than everybody. I got stronger. I got faster. I started whooping ass left and right. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, okay. I started whooping ass left and right. It was so bad that I actually, and this is why now I have to like think about how far I've come, because I actually put a girl in the hospital because I got bullied so bad. She poured chocolate milk down my white soccer jersey, and at the time I was a tomboy. I wore a sports bra. I was completely mortified over a guy that I didn't even really know. He was like my friend, and it just showed me that they would go to that much great lengths to try to like hurt me and like humiliate me. And I was like, I gotta stand up for myself. But I put the girl in the hospital because I beat her up because I was sick of it. And then I started noticing that I had all this pent up aggression and rage and things like that from, constant years of taking that I was like, I need to go turn this into like something good, something positive. And it wasn't until I literally went my whole entire high school career that way into college. And it wasn't until I want to say about my like junior or senior year in college, I was like, I got to do something to get this like anger and rage out of me. And I was like, saw a commercial for a wrestling school late at night. And they were like, if you think you can do this, give it a try. And I was like, okay, like maybe this might be the outlet I need. I did some martial arts before, and it was like, it wasn't giving me the like full satisfaction I wanted, but I literally was like, all right, let me try this. I walked into the school, and, we won't talk about the first school, but the first school I walked into, they told me I wouldn't even last past day 3. And some stuff happened, and I ended up leaving that school and going to the school that I ended up finishing under, like, C.W. Anderson, Damian Wayne, and Sean Denny, the Geordie Bulldogs. But I walked into the school. They told me I wouldn't last 3 days. I ended up lasting more than 3 days. I spent a whole 6 months in that school. I ended up coming out. I'm the only person from that school originally that has traveled internationally, have done anything outside of our state. So from the girl that they walked in and told that I wouldn't last 3 days, I outlasted all of them. So that's what got me into wrestling. And if it wasn't for people like C.W. Anderson and Sean Denny and Damian Wayne, there would be no Sahara 7. Like, honestly, with the retirement of C-Dub, I'm not sure if you've heard, but C.W. Anderson just recently retired in like the past 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And without him, it would be no me. Like, that is my wrestling father. Like, he's the one that gave me the stride and the determination. He's the one that said, you got to let all that anger go, and you got to become the great person that I know you can be. So he's the reason why, and Sean Denny, like, he pushed me as hard. Days I wanted to give up, he pushed me hard. Them two, they really. And Damian Wayne beat my ass. He beat my ass. He said, I'm not going to take it easy on you because you're a girl. And he was like, because I know what type of person you are, that makes it even worse. He's like, I'm not going to take it easy on you. So them three really beat it in my head that I had to make it. I had to let go of all the anger and stuff that put me in this position that drove me towards my wrestling career. But I had to let it go in order for me to be successful. So that's pretty much my story as far as wrestling.
And honestly, I really enjoy that story because the one thing that really got me was, you had mentioned that, you dealt with bullying growing up. Personally, I dealt with the same thing, so I know exactly, how it is, to be put in that position. Unfortunately, I never became necessarily like bigger and stronger than everyone. I just kind of, when I got into high school, I just kind of was the quiet kid. It just kind of didn't really associate with a lot of people. And as I kind of got near to the end of my high school, I did, start making more friends and stuff like that. And I've, as an adult, I've definitely become a lot more open to stuff like that. But stuff like that, makes it very relatable for, fans when it comes to, some of their favorite wrestlers. That's actually, like, I had already been, like, a big fan of Ember Moon, but then when I listened to her interview with Lillian Garcia on Chasing Glory, she had mentioned the same thing. She was being bullied growing up, and that kind of made me like her even more because it's, it's that thing that you can relate to. Because being bullied is a very serious thing. Like a lot of people, especially as kids, look at it as just being funny, joking, so on and so forth.
Mhm.
It can really have a very long impact on someone, and they don't really look at it like that. So I'm personally a very anti-bullying advocate. So I definitely like, and hearing that from you, just like I said, I was already a fan, and this is like, like, so I really enjoy hearing your story and all. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And I'm glad you definitely turned, it into something good too, because like you said, you got bigger and stronger than them, and then you were, defending yourself. And there's nothing wrong with defending yourself, because you can't just let people walk all over you. And the fact that you turned that into something good, you became a wrestler. You're taking all your strength and your quickness and your speed, and you're an entertainer now. You're out there in the ring, entertaining fans, and and when I've seen your videos and some of your matches, I was just like, wow, like this girl is really good. Like you also are like really, really, really high on my list of wrestlers I want to see in person. I wish I would have gotten an opportunity before COVID, but I personally never really, as much as I had some interest in the past, I didn't really actually going to indie events. Is something I actually started at the end of last year. So haven't gotten that opportunity yet, but I'm really hoping that sometime in the near future when these, events start opening back up, that you'll be in the DMV area wrestling.
Oh, I've gotten quite a few offers for like right now, for like when everything opens back up, to come back, in the DMV area and kind of just, show that, indie wrestling is still alive in the DMV area, because it was starting to die off. I'm not gonna lie, before COVID, we were few and far. It was like MCV was up and running, but everywhere else was kind of just like hit or miss. So I mean, I've gotten quite a few offers to like, continue on in the DMV area. So I'm definitely sure, we'll cross paths in person.
I really hope so,
Without a doubt.
especially because I know you were a former MCW Women's Champion, and that is the promotion I go to the most. Do you think we will see you there sometime in the future again?
Yeah, actually, yeah, you will see me there sometime in the future. Definitely have had like some conversations about, featuring some of the past MCW Women's Champions, like coming back. I had a blast at MCW. Like, I had a blast running as the MCW Women's Champion. They kind of just were like, "Go be your crazy self. It's cool." And I was just like, "All right. I mean, I know y'all are taping this, but are y'all sure?" And they're like, "Yeah, go ahead, do it." I was like, "Okay."
Yes,
And so,
that would be awesome, because that's literally like 30-40 minutes from my house. So I would definitely go to that event. We were actually going there every month for every event that they were having leading up to COVID. So the one event that we were supposed to go to was postponed to September. So I was like, oh, so I think that's going to be the Shamrock event.
yeah, the
From what I
Shamrock
heard.
Cup.
So
That's a beast ass event. If you've never been to one, it is like,
I have.
honestly, I'm so jealous, because the Shamrock Cup for years has been like a men only type of thing, and I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get up in that thing.
Yeah, because my friend that wrestles there, Gia Scott, she talks so highly about that event, like it's basically like the WrestleMania of like MCW and all that kind of stuff. So it's on her list to wrestle at that event too. So, and
Oh,
hopefully,
Gia.
yeah,
I love
she's
her.
awesome. Yeah, she's really good, really young, a lot of potential. So that's a match I would like to see between you versus Gia. That would be a really cool and fun match.
Fun but short story. I met Gia before she even stepped foot in a ring. Like, she was just a trainee. Like, didn't even get to roll around yet. She's eager. She's willing to learn. She was just there to like watch and comprehend. She was just a sweetheart. And I'm when I say this from the bottom of my heart, I'm glad she's getting all the success that's coming her way. Like, I would love to see her keep going in the future. And like you said, I would love to have a match with her, because, honey, we would tear it down. I know she would. Like, me and her, we could just give off some, excuse the words if you don't like my words, but some bombing, banging, black girl magic.
Oh, hell yeah. 'Cause
But
I know she was a fan of, in the crowd at MCW too. So it's kind of like, she, experienced it as a fan. Now she's actually a wrestler. And, I know she mentioned that she's really excited for an opportunity to potentially fight like Amber Rodriguez. And I'm sure she probably thinks the same of you too. Actually, I told her about you the other day too, that I was interviewing you, and she seemed excited. So, she definitely knows of you, and was a fan as well.
She's a sweet girl, and I wish her nothing but this like the best success, because she literally went from a fan to behind the scenes to actually studying her craft and like getting better. So it's nothing but love there. I love when I see young talent just coming up, like, and I'm saying young talent like I'm not young, but I mean I'm a little bit older, but she's still like, she's still growing and nurturing her talent, and it's amazing to see. So I love that. Everyone at MCW is really like amazing, and they're nurturing their talent, and they're just they're just honing their craft, because it just keeps going, like, from you start off here and you just keep rising.
Exactly, and it seems like a good promotion to like really start, because they have the training facility and all. It's a good facility to start at the bottom and just kind of like work your way up. And then at the same time, even if you're like already established wrestler somewhere else, it's a good place to go, because a lot of wrestlers have gone from MCW to WWE. Leo Rush, Velveteen Dream. There too, and there's wrestlers have come from WWE to MCW, like Mickey James. So it works both ways. So it's definitely a very established promotion, and from the knowledge that I picked up, it seems to be kind of one of the upper tier indie events in the whole United States. So it's definitely the promotion that you want to be at.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for my time that I had there before I went overseas and things like that. They really did prepare me a lot for when I went overseas and like other places. And once I was working at MCW, I kind of learned like some like different ways, especially like TV working and things like that. I kind of went other places, and I was just like, okay, and I'm trying to like help other young girls, because I always get somehow, I don't know why, but I'm always paired with younger girls than me. And I kind of like tell them the things that were passed on to me, like little gemstones. I'm not trying to run their lives or anything, not trying to tell
Mm-hmm.
them the truth, but I was just pass these gemstones that were passed to me. And I'm like, hey, if they got a Roman camera, girl, play to that camera. Like, if it's over here, then you make sure you go over there. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you do your thing. Make sure you get your 5 seconds of fame, if that's what that you got. Just don't be greedy about it, but get your 5 seconds of fame. If you're doing the heat or you're doing whatever, get your 5 seconds of fame, girl. That's on you. Like that's on you to make that moment pop. And those are things that I learned while I was there. Like, they put you in this position. Now, what you gonna do with it? It's pretty much like what I got told.
Exactly. Like, it's like they're giving you an opportunity. Now it's your job to take that opportunity and make something of it. And I really like the fact that, you definitely seem like a very generous wrestler. Like, you're passing on knowledge. Like, you're not, like you mentioned, you're not telling people how to live their life or what to do, but you're just giving them, the knowledge that, and every wrestler should be doing that too, because at the end of the day, like, I feel like it's not like a me thing. It's a teamwork. Like, when two wrestlers are in the ring, for an example, you need to make each other both look good, because if they aren't trying to make you look good, then guess what? The match is not going to be good, and no one's going to talk about it, or if they do talk about it, not for good reason. So it's a team effort. You got to work together, and respect, from what I've heard, and it makes sense. Respect in the locker room makes all the is a really big deal, because you need to trust and respect who you are working with, especially if you're having a match with them, because you need to be able to trust them. If you respect them, you're going to want to make them look good, and vice versa. So I know that's a really important trait to have.
Yeah, respect is like one of those big things for me. Like, respect will always be a big key in wrestling and in my real life, because if you give respect, you get respect. But respect is like earned, not given.
Mm-hmm,
So
exactly.
for me, is if you come in the locker room and you disrespect everybody, but you're my opponent, and you come off disrespecting me, then guess what? You haven't earned my respect. Like, right now, I'm gonna talk to you like you're a child, because that's what you're acting like. We don't even gotta talk about wrestling. We just keep it short and just be like, look, you rub me the wrong way, so now I'm gonna talk to you this way. But if you come in with the utmost respect, and you come in, you respect the business, you respect what you're doing, you respect yourself, you respect the others around you, and we ain't got no problem. Then I will give you the respect that you deserve. But
Exactly.
it's just so many people nowadays that just walk in a locker room and just demand respect, and like think that they're just gonna treat anybody any type of way. And it's majority of the females that I've come in contact with do that, and there's some now that are in some promotions. I won't name no names, but that have rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, it's because your mama ain't teach you better, or whoever raised y'all. And I always be like, who raised you?
Mhm.
Like, and if it's a man, I'm always like, who trained you? And I don't mean that in the wrestling sense. I meant as coming up as a kid. Who trained you? Like, who trained you? Because you ain't got
Mhm.
no common sense, no common decency, and no respect.
Yeah, and like I never will ever mention names, but I know there's one wrestler in particular that their name has been circulating, for many months, have not been a good person in the locker room, and you see how it's affecting them now, and it's like it can affect you when it comes to being booked, who wants to work with you, how your fans look at you, because I really liked this wrestler, and then when I heard this stuff, I was like, I can't support this person anymore. And it gets to the point where you can't always believe what you hear, but when you hear it so much, there has to be some truth to it, so it can really affect your reputation, and your reputation is everything when it comes to not just wrestling but just in your work environment in general. It doesn't have to be at a wrestling promotion. It could be at Walmart, Target, like it's just it's very important to be very well respected around with the people around you.
Right. And it's just like, if you can't be a good person in the locker room or outside the locker room, then no one's going to want to work with you. It's as simple as that.
So, like, in general, like, I know we just talked about, like, your respect and all that. Who are some of the wrestlers that you've worked with that you enjoy working with the most? I'm not gonna ask like who's your favorite, but like just name a few that you really like working with.
Okay, well, of course, Victoria, Lisa Marie Varon, love her to death. C.W. Anderson, he's my trainer, my mentor, everything. Sean Denny, Damian Wayne, who else? Female wise, Ariel Monroe, Big Swole, shout out to my sister. Love her to death. Will forever want to work her. My other sister, Nyla Rose, aka my roommate. My roommate and aka my sister on our international crime spree.
Oh my goodness.
Nyla Rose, Aja Pereira, Super Pereira, aka Ref Aja Smith now in WWE. I would never call her that. I'm just gonna call her Aja Pereira. I would never call her that.
I
But
really
she's
like
another
her.
one.
I know some people were complaining about why she's not wrestling versus being a referee, but like I think I've seen some of her matches prior, to coming to WWE, and like she's really caught my attention. And I don't know what her plan is if she wants to continue refereeing, but like she's setting herself up for after wrestling. Like, hey, like you can't wrestle forever, so like, hey, now she's got a job that she can do for a very long time.
Exactly. She's smart. She's smart. High End out of Texas. Amazing. Who else? There's a lot of people. JJ Blake from Reality of Wrestling. That's like my brother. I love him. Mad Max Morrison. Shout out to him. Who else? Double D Dementia Rose. Love her. There's so many people I've come in contact with that I love them. Candy Cartwright, love him. Jamie Sengal, love him. My sister Renee Michelle, I was in her wedding. It's like my best friend. Love her. There's like a lot of people that I associate with that I love wrestling. Like I love sharing the ring with them. Who else? There's so many people. Mickey James.
Mickey
I love her.
James, oh, that's a good one right there.
Mickey James, I love her. The original Virginia
Legend.
girl.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I love her. Who else? Alicia Fox, one of my very good mentors. When it comes to bigger promotion, she's been a silent mentor in my whole journey. Who else? Vicky Guerrero and Shaw Guerrero. Oh my God, how could I forget the Guerreros? Those ladies are my heart. I love them both.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
love them both.
yeah, you gotta love
Booker T and
Vicky.
Charnel. There you go. Everyone at Reality of Wrestling. There we go.
That is a huge list. How about some wrestlers that you've never worked with that that are on your list that you really want to have some matches with?
Thunder Rosa, La Hedra from AAA, Mamba from AAA. Oh my God, Fabi Apache from AAA. I wish she did retire, but I wanted to wrestle her so bad. Kagetsu from Stardom. Who else? Oh, shout out to Hannah Kimura. Rest in peace. That is She was a sweetheart. I met her. I never got to wrestle her, but I met her during my time in Japan. And when I say beautiful soul, would have loved to wrestle her. Tony, before she got signed to WWE, met her. She's sweet. We actually got food when I was in Japan, and we just did get to wrestle each other. Io, another one that's I met her in Japan, didn't get to wrestle her. Who else? There's another. Who else? What is her name? Can't even think of it. AK-47. Allison K. I want to wrestle that. I want to wrestle her so bad. Marty Bell, nice girl. Love her to death. She's always been nothing but nice and sweet, but I've never got to wrestle her. Love to wrestle her. Who else? There's a lot of people. I want to wrestle Gino from ROH or ROW, and he's just signed to Major League Wrestling. He's cool. We're friends, but he's fucking beast as a wrestler. I would love to wrestle him. Fuego del Sol. He's out of Oklahoma, I believe, in the Texas area somewhat. Love to wrestle him. Who else? There's like a lot of people I want to wrestle. There's a lot. Kenny Dykstra. We're cool, but I want to wrestle him. I want to beat him up so bad. We're so cool, but it's like I really want to wrestle him so bad because I can just beat him up. Who else? There's a lot of people. There's just a lot of people. Holly Dead.
That she is my favorite wrestler on the planet. So the fact that you said that, just like,
I want to wrestle her so bad. Give me Holly Dead. I love her.
That's funny. Like the way you feel about wanting to fight Holly Dead. Just like she's like, I've been wanting her on my show for so long. So it's like, come on, Holly. Like come. Like she follows us on Twitter. You know, we've tweeted so much. It's like, come to my show, Holly. So it's.
I'll tweet her too. I'll message her and be like, if you give him this interview, then you're gonna give me my match.
Exactly. You got to do both. And then you mentioned her best friend earlier that, you know, wrestled You Want to Wrestle. Thunder Rosa, she was on the show back in, like, my rookie days at interview, and I feel like I did a horrible job at the time. It's, like, one of my first interviews was Thunder Rosa. Like, Jesus. Like, I was so nervous doing that, and it's like, I wish I could have done better. But, yeah, she's a really nice person, dude. That was a really
She's amazing. We were supposed to wrestle on Ladies Night Out 3 back in 2018, I believe. Yeah, 2018. But something happened because there was a storm system coming in on one of the girls that were supposed to come in, so she didn't end up making it. So me and Thunder decided to make the executive decision with Booker's blessing to change the card around, and I ended up in a tag match with 2 rookies and then another girl from Booker's school, and then Thunder ended up in a match with another girl who was supposed to be that girl's partner. Was basically what happened was she was supposed to be that girl's partner, opponent, and then Thunder was supposed to be my opponent. And we didn't end up getting to work each other because we made the executive decision to just fill in and help out where needed.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't really matter to us because we were like, you know, further down the line, we'll get our match, and, you know, we're not that worried about it. Because I frequent Texas a lot, so it was just like, I'm pretty sure we're going to cross paths anyway. So, but it did hurt my feelings. I was sad because I was like, I wanted this match.
I mean, like you said, you'll cross paths eventually. I mean, maybe, you know, the anticipation will make this such like a big moment for you than it did before. And then at the same time, it allows you kind of to grow more as wrestlers and kind of, you know, give each other even more of a better match that you could have done in the past, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It just builds up the excitement at the end of the day, which kind of makes you want to even put together a better match. So it's a match I would definitely be excited to see.
Me too. I'd just be excited to be included. That's the honest God truth.
That would be fun. That would definitely be fun. So I got one more question, and it's kind of like two questions in one because it makes sense just to ask them both. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about your character. 'Cause I know you like have like the Egyptian goddess kind of thing, and then some of your signature moves relate to kind of like your character with the names like the Pyramid of Pain and then the Fall of Empire. So how did you come up with your character, and then what made you give these moves the names that you gave them?
Well, my actual heritage and background, I'm African, so I have it tattooed on my arm. Like, that's my mom's face because it's my mom's side of the family. And you can see my cool pajamas. But yeah, so my family's from Alexandria. That's 30 minutes outside of Cairo, Egypt. So when I get announced from the Royal Palace in Cairo, Egypt, because technically my family lives 30 minutes outside of Cairo, Egypt. And if you trace my lineage goes back as far as like Nefertiti and Cleopatra. So I just took a real thing that was within my own like heritage and bloodline and decided to make it this larger than life, like spoiled queen like character. Like, basically, if you could put Queen of the Damned and what was the other one that I kind of like, if you could put Queen of the Damned and Scary Spice all together, that's Sahara, because I was a big Scary Spice fan growing up. She's like my inspiration, end all be all. But in regular everyday life. But if you could put those two like characters together, if you could put Queen Akasha from Queen of the Dam and Scary Spice together, you get Sahara. Sahara likes posh, luxe, like gold jewels, aka belts and crowns. And then, with her fact of like her brutality, like pretty much Queen of the Dam, kill anyone that gets in your way. That's me. And it's literally like Sahara. It's like the Sahara Desert, which is also in Africa. But so I just basically took it from my heritage, and how I came up with the names of like some of my moves, like the Pyramid of Pain, like you said, the Fall of an Empire. I have like the Namaste. I have I'm just trying to think of all. I have Queen's Revenge. I have the Denial, DDT. Like, I have so many different, like, I have the Wrath of Ra. I have different, like, names, but it's just basically based on, like, my heritage and the things that we've, grew up with and things like that, like the ancient Egyptian mythology and things like that. So it pretty much just came from, like, my grandma definitely helped out a lot because she's my best friend in the whole wide world. Over everyone. My grandma, she helped raise me, but she's the one who gave me my wrestling name. Like, she was like, okay, well, if you want to represent us and you want to represent your heritage, why don't you name yourself after your heritage? So I was like, what am I going to name myself? Cleo? Like Cleopatra? And she was like, no, that's so fucking boring. I was like, well, then help me. And she was just like, just name me what I wanted to name you when you were born. And I was like, what was that? And she was like, Sahara. And I was like, gotcha. So she gave me my name, and then 7 comes from, like I told you, I played sports. I played soccer and basketball and things like that. My number was always 7. Everybody in my family's number was 7. My dad played football. His number was 7. My mom ran track. Her number was 7. My sister ran track. Her number was 7. All my older siblings played football, field hockey, lacrosse, all that stuff. Number 7. So 7 is our family number, and it's like the number of completion and the wholeness,
Mm-hmm.
So hence why my name is Sahara 7. And then everything I have has like an Egyptian name to it. Recently, I've gotten names like from other promotions of like certain moves that I really didn't think to name. Like, there's a combo move that I do now that they call it the Egyptian asp kicker. Like, 'cause that's actually a real thing. It's an asp, Egyptian asp. So I've gotten the name the Egyptian ass kicker. When I was in Japan, I got called the Savage Beauty because I literally was a savage. Before the Megan Thee Stallion song, I was a savage. And they would say my face was so pretty, but I was like, I was a savage in the ring. Like, I was terrifying. So they just called me the Savage Beauty. The International Face Kicker. I got that because I literally was kicking girls in the face in every country that I went to. I just didn't care. But I didn't notice it was a thing until people started making like memes and gifs and things like that. They're like, you've literally kicked the girl in the face in every country you've been in. And I was like, really? I think, yeah, we're going to start calling you the international face kicker. I was like, well, that'll work.
That's really interesting, and I really like how your ring name really means something, and not just with the Sahara, but with the seven as well, because I'm exactly like that too. Like anytime like I name something, it has to mean something. Like even like my like gamer tag on PlayStation, like the name has something to do with, when I was younger. And then the number is actually like my lucky number, which was started out as like an inside joke with me and my friends growing up. So like that's really cool that like because I never knew what the seven meant, to be honest with you. I thought it maybe just because it sounded good with it or something like that. But yeah, like the Sahara, like, and you gave me kind of like a little bit of a history lesson because I'm not, a history person. I do not know my history. I thought the Sahara Desert was in Egypt, not Africa. So, I mean, you taught me something there. And it's funny because I've always loved like Egypt stuff. I just never cared to learn like the history and all. Like, and and I do want to mention Queen of the Dam. That is one of my favorite all-time movies. I love that movie. That's such a great, that was, I think, came out when I was in middle school maybe, but something like that. But that's a great movie, by the way. But yeah, that's really cool. Just like how your name has so much meaning, and the fact that that's what your mom wanted, to call you, when before you were born too. That I think that's really cool, and you definitely put, a lot of effort into your character and making it mean something. So I really enjoyed hearing about that.
Oh, thank you. And then everybody's like, well, will you change your name if you go somewhere else? I'm like, no.
Oh, that's who you
I'm
are.
like, no. It's like, it's going to be my name. It's my name. It's my name.
So I know I said that was going to be the last question, but just one quick question. So I know, like, hypothetically, if WWE signed you, I know they're very big on signing wrestlers and then creating a new name for them. If they tried to change your name, would you allow that? Would you fight it?
Absolutely. You're not changing my name.
Yeah, because I know there's
you want to fight me over changing my name? You better pull up to my grandma's house and tell her why you changing my name.
Exactly.
You ain't gonna have to fight me. You gonna have to fight her. You already think I'm a tough bitch? Think I'm a bad bitch? Like, you want to tell 98-year-old Beatrice that you want to change my name? Go ahead. Good luck. You're gonna get a frying pan, a cane, an African paddle thrown at you. Look, that's one lady I don't want to mess with.
Good, because it's like sometimes they do create some really cool names, but then there's some wrestlers who had like I love like Ember Moon's like Athena, like why didn't you keep Athena? So it's like if you want the WWE hypothetically, I'd love for you to keep Sahara 7. That's just, and like I said, it means something, so that could be kind of like you can carry over that character to like the mainstream audience and all that. So that would be really cool.
Thank you. I hope. Hopefully they don't try to change my name, but if they do, it's going to be a fight to the death to change my name. I'm telling you right now, it'll be a fight to the death.
Yep, and hearing your story, I know you're a fighter, so, they better be careful with that because, you don't, I'm sure they don't want to get kicked in the face, so.
Right. I've already fought so much to keep this name, whether it was in wrestling or outside of wrestling. Like, I actually trademarked my name, and I've had, like, 5 people try to, like, fight me over it, and, like, one of them, long but short story. If you ever watched Bad Girls Club, there was a girl named 7 on Bad Girls Club. She did not spell it the same way I spelled my last name, but she wanted to fight me over this name. She lived in like DC at the time, so I was like, all right, cool. You're like, what, 4 hours away from me? I was like, you want to fight about it? I said, I own this name. I said, but you want to fight about it? Come on, bring it. And surely but slowly, she never came. Fight when there's cameras around. I was like, but when I said in real life, pull up, you didn't want to pull up. So guess the name's mine now.
Exactly. And no one is taking it away. Not even WWE.
Nah, I don't think so. Mm-mm.
But thank you so much for joining us today, Sahara 7. This was very, very enjoyable and such a knowledgeable interview. I definitely really enjoyed doing this with you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it too, even though I have no makeup on, but It's cool. I'm still cute.
You're not the only one, so I don't care about the whole like making yourself look all fancy and all during an interview. It's an interview, you know, people like including myself, we just want to see the real you and just you being yourself. So that's what we want at the end of the day here on the show.
Plus, we're in quarantine, so I mean, I would like for everybody to know I'm still following the guidelines. I wear my mask in public, but when I'm home, I am inside. I'm indoors. I don't get dressed up to go sit on the couch. I just relax.
Same here. I'm not trying to impress the TV or anything like that. So, yeah, I definitely have to agree with you on that. Do you want to share any of your, you know, fan pages, you know, your Instagram and all that with the viewers?
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm pretty sure that's like the more popular one that everybody chooses to follow me on. My Instagram is at Sahara, SAHARATHE, and then the number 7, TH, so it's Sahara the 7th on Instagram. And then on Twitter, it's at Sahara, same way I spell it, _ 007, like 007. And then on Facebook, it's Sahara 7. And that way you guys can find me anytime you want. I mean, you know, emails included on there. You guys can see all that. But I'm pretty much like, this is how I am, like the way you guys see me all day, kind of pretty much how I am on social media. No holds bar. I say whatever, you know. And if anybody feels free and feels like, you know, so compelled that, you know, you can tweet Dave Bautista to just hurry up and marry me. But that was a joke. That was a joke. But yes, please follow me on all my social media handles. I love to hear feedback, and I love to hear, you know, people's stories. And I always try to tweet back consistently, but I do work sometimes, so I'm not as rapid and fast as most people would like. But please tweet me. I love feedback. I love to hear from my fans. I love to hear from you guys. And this was an amazing opportunity. Thank you for having me. And, you know, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I mean, no problem at all. We definitely enjoyed having you on the show. Yeah, everyone, make sure you follow her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. She will do her best to reply. She loves hearing from you all. And do the same for us. Make sure you sub us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search O Face Wrestling, and you'll find us. So thank you all for tuning in today. And just one last thank you to you, Sahara 7, for joining us on O Face Wrestling today.
Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye.